Susannah, we always love to hear the authors speak the words that they wrote. Would you mind reading a little bit from the book?
Absolutely, I'd be glad to. Thank you. Chapter 7. Mama was an incredibly talented musician. She played both violin and piano. She never took a lesson in her life and mostly played by ear, but she taught herself how to read music and was qualified to teach the subject at Witten Middle School, which she did for nearly 30 years. She favored calling her violin a fiddle. She called it a fiddle when she played Blue Moon of Kentucky, and she called it a fiddle when she played Partitia in D minor by Johann Sebastian Bach. Her daddy, a Birmingham coal miner until 1937 and later a hay grower who supplied all the horse farmers and cow operations with 100 miles of his small homestead, was a country boy who didn't dare play a violin. He played the fiddle, so that's what his mother called it, what Mama called it too. She kept her favorite, most reliable fiddle, a satin antique Mendini, propped against the wall in the corner of the living room for easy access. But she had a collection of 10 or so. They lived in her music room and were displayed on hooks along the walls. The music room was a small add-on that Daddy built off the laundry room when Jamie and I were small. Mama painted it her favorite shade of pink and hung framed sheet music on the walls between the fiddles. She bought a small spinet piano from Mrs. DeBerry, the local piano teacher, and placed it on the long wall of the room next to a pink and green floral chaise lounge. A white bookcase filled with music books and gifts she'd received from music students over the years, like miniature porcelain fiddles and knickknacks, sat in another corner. I had decorated the rest of the house as my own, but I didn't dare touch my mother's music room, and I never planned to do so. The day after the meeting at Mrs. Fanny's house, I walked into the music room with Patsy following and pulled a spruce viola from the pink wall. I sat on the floral lounge and ran the bow across the dull strings. Patsy seemed to grimace. I could only play a few chords correctly. Mama always wanted me to play a musical instrument, but I never had the patience or the rhythm. I took piano lessons from Mrs. DeBerry for a year or so, but retired with only one song, Ode to Joy, in my portfolio. I placed the viola back on the wall and paced the small room, admiring the violin collection. On top of the spinet piano, I saw the familiar pink envelope with my name written in Mama's cursive on the front. I didn't know how I'd missed it in the handful of times I'd been in the room over the last month, but a smile covered my face as I sprawled across the lounge and peeled it open. Ray, this is the letter. Ray, you're in my favorite room in this house. How many times did I escape to this room and play the fiddle while you and your brother bickered or your father watched the crimson tide? I came here when the bills were overdue and stress sank in. I came here when I was grief-stricken at the loss of my parents. I cried in this room, I prayed in this room, I healed in this room. Music has always been such a comfort to me. It's been a gift. I can't begin to describe what a glorious and exhilarating feeling it is to hear your own hands make beautiful melodies. I would sit in this room for hours on end and play and cry and smile. I would always exit this room better than when I had entered. I wish you'd learned to play an instrument, but you hated every lesson with Mrs. DeBerry. You refused to practice the piano and vomited the morning of your only piano recital. But each time you played Ode to Joy for me, my burdens were a little lighter. I think yours were too. Do you remember when your brother Jamie took drum lessons? Oh me. I was thrilled when he showed an interest in music, even when my head pounded as he banged the tom-tom for hours on end. I nearly died of liver failure from all the Tylenol I took during that stint with the drums, but it was worth it, because I know the power in turning to music during hard times. The afternoon your grandmother, Mrs. Bonnie Reeves, died, your father was at her bedside. He phoned me to tell me she'd passed away, and 30 minutes later he walked through the front door of our little house on King Street. I was standing at the kitchen counter rolling out biscuits, and he silently wrapped his arms around my waist and rested his head on my shoulder. I'd known your father for a long time and had never seen him cry until that moment. I held him there in the kitchen for a good long while, and he walked to the record player in the living room and put on his favorite Otis Redding song, These Arms of Mine. And there on that cold linoleum floor in my bare feet, your father and I danced. His mother had only been dead an hour, but we danced in that kitchen. I don't know why your father picked that song. I don't know why his first instinct after his mother died was to dance, but that's what we did. I think the music helped him. Actually, I know it did. When that boy broke up with you, oh, what was his name? Kevin Howell. When Kevin Howell broke up with you in high school, you came home and ran straight to your bedroom. The door shut, and soon the song from that prostitute movie with Julia Roberts was blaring from the other side. It must have been love. You played it on repeat. You finally exited with puffy eyes and joined your father and me at the dinner table. My heart hurt so terribly for you in that moment because it was your first heartbreak. But you were better than when you ran into your room that afternoon. I can still see you and your father dancing to Etta James at your wedding. I can still see you and Carter swaying to Percy Sledge at the country club. I can see you and your brother dancing in front of the television. I can feel your father's arms around my waist. He always liked to dance while I was trying to cook. I burned more fried green tomatoes because your daddy put it on an Otis Redding album. If you decide to stay in this house, I hope you'll dance in it. I hope you'll take your daughter's hand and spin around the living room. I hope you'll dance while putting away the laundry and drying the dishes. I hope the next love of your life will make you burn the fried green tomatoes. Music, Ray, it's a beautiful thing. I love you with my heart until we meet again and dance on streets of gold. Mama.